This is Pastor Randy with some thoughts on the Encounter Adult Sunday School lesson for November 8th. The lesson this week is titled Elijah, God Cares for All People. The Bible reading that goes along with this lesson is the story of Elijah found in 1 Kings chapter 17. After Solomon, the kingdom was divided into two halves, the northern kingdom, Israel, in the area which included Samaria, and the southern half, Judah, centered in Jerusalem. The temple was in Jerusalem, so the first king of the northern kingdom established a competing religious center at Bethel in the north. By the time of our passage today, Ahab has become king of Israel, and his father has arranged his marriage to the daughter of the king of Tyre, Jezebel. Tyre was the foreign city which you read about last week's lesson that sent building materials to Solomon in exchange for food supplies. That trading alliance was solidified by marrying Ahab to Jezebel. There are two problems with this, however, the way I see it. Number one, it's never a good thing when we think we can do for our country politically, make an alliance, that can only be done spiritually. This alliance was itself a slap in the face of God. Number two, Tyre and Jezebel worshipped Baal, the storm god or the god of agriculture. You'd think the fact that God had blessed Israel with crops to share and Tyre needed to import food might have been a clue that Baal was a false god. But Ahab, to please his wife, built altars to Israel to worship Baal alongside Israel's one true God. And Jezebel began to seek to destroy the priests of Israel so her Baal priests could be in control. God was not pleased. What part of the first two commandments do you not understand? So to show how impotent the so-called storm god was, God told Elijah to announce to King Ahab that not a drop of rain would fall until God gave the word through his prophet Elijah. Then God wisely gave Elijah the advice to get out of Dodge while he still could. So Elijah went to where God told him to go and found water to drink in that valley and ravens to bring him food every day. Ravens, according to Leviticus 11, are very unclean birds, so they were an interesting choice. It reminds me of the experience that Peter had in Acts chapter 10, when God in a vision told Peter to eat an assortment of unclean animals and birds, and told him that if God says it's clean and good, then it is. That was right before the men arrived from the Gentile Cornelius to invite Peter to come to his home. Maybe this raven food service was a preparation for Elijah's next stop in his journey, to go to Zarephath in Gentile country and stay with a Gentile woman and her son there. Let me give you some places on the map so you can know what we're talking about. First of all, down here is Jerusalem. In the purple here, we have Judah. In the green up here, we have Israel with the capital of the worship at Bethel. And then in the Gentile country, Tyre is up here along the Mediterranean Sea. Zarephath is between Tyre and Sidon. So that's the area that we're talking about on our map. This Gentile woman lived at Zarephath on the coast there. And as a Gentile, this widow would have been considered unclean by devout Israelites, and he would not have been allowed to even go into her home. But she was about to starve, and her son was about to die. And they were also both about to become believers in the God of Elijah, as he filled their pantry and raised her son from the dead. God cared for them. I'm not sure that this message comes through in the lesson very well with all the historical background that references you have to read about. But the title of the lesson makes it clear. God cares for all people. He cares for Israel enough to punish them when they go astray and when they seek their strength in alliances or in other gods, to let them experience the consequences of their lack of faith, a physical drought to symbolize as a metaphor the spiritual drought that they were going through. And he cares for people who might not be included in our little circle. The poor widow, the foreigner, the person from a different nation, religion, or ethnic background. As the song says, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. God so loved the world so much, that he gave his only son. Let's remember that. God cares for all people, and we should too. Until next time, this is Pastor Randy. Have a great week.